Okay, so as promised, I'm put together a brief video here to walk everybody through the what we need, what we're going to be doing with the SAP Sales Order Lab exercise. Okay, where you will find this at? Just to start off, how do you find it? It's on the if you look under here under assignments, the first item there. If you click it, this is also the place you'll be submitting it. Okay, so this is there's the submission area here. All right, but then in addition, we also have the two there's two descriptors. So we'll go to the first one here. Walk you through it. So this explain a case study, explains an integrated sales and distribution process in detail, and fosters a thorough understanding of each process and underlying SAP functionality. Okay. Um, the lab itself is basically the scenario is um, working at a bike company, basically a company that sells bikes. All right, and in this lab, people will take on different roles. So each team will have different roles to fulfill, and you can tackle this in any number of ways. But you'll have a salesperson, a warehouse clerk, accounting clerk. Those are the three roles that are going to be involved. And within the system itself, for the execution of the process, you'd be working in the sales and distribution module, the material management module, and the financial accounting. Right? The names can be, these imaginary names, but here's kind of a pictorial. All right. So we're going to start off, you create a new customer. All right, this is going to be done in the SD system, the bike zone. And then you receive an inquiry, which will then turn into a quotation. All right, quotation will be then turned into a accepted by a customer, which will then turn into a sales order referencing the quotation. And then if you have enough bikes, assuming you have enough bikes, so the data is set up in the system, so you will have enough bikes. Create an invoice and receive payment. Right, so this is the end-to-end kind of all the steps that we go along. So SDFM, SDMM, and FI. So from the high level, what we'll do, and we'll just go through the steps. So we'll look at the table of contents. We're going to create a new customer, create a contact person for the customer, make modification to the customer, just do it. Create a customer inquiry and a quotation. We're going to take the quotation and use that quotation to create a sales order. Check the stock status for the basically making sure we've got material out there, and then do a display of the sales order. So this is kind of the steps 1 through 8 are really focused on the sales process. Step 9 is the delivery process. So we're going to check the stock status again. We'll pick the materials on what we call a delivery note. We will post goods issue of those materials and check the status again. And then finally, the last piece of this is we're going to create the invoice. Right? So when you ship the stuff, you generate an invoice off of that. The last step is this, starting with 15, we display the billing document for the customer. We post receipt of the customer's payment. And then we go back and we'll look at what we call a document flow, review the document flow. All right. So so if we go through here, every one of these steps is basically called out in detail. All right, now the thing that's going to be a little tricky for people is the SAP user interface is a little bit different than people may have been accustomed to. So it's actually improved. It's improved a bit, but it basically looks a lot like the original SAP user interface from 1993. So there was, and we'll take a look at the screens, but this basically walks you through, all of the steps you have to do. All right. So what we'll do is we'll take you through, entering customer information, changing the customer data. Now the one thing I will say is you have to read this stuff carefully, and kind of take your time walking through it because there's a couple things in here. Like there's some screens which may be actually hidden, so you might have to kind of poke around on the screen to see where some additional data is at. Plus, also some of the text. I think I've had some versions of the lab where the descriptions are not necessarily the best, but you should be able to work your way through it. I mean, it's one thing we will say about the lab is the lab does work. All right. So this will, kind of go through. So this is all, you go through step by step by step. Okay. Now to get onto the system, let's go back up here. All right. So the assignment is basically, if you do this, you can download these two PDFs. You can save them if you want. Okay. And now the actual information, so the how we get out there and kind of the descriptions of this stuff is actually on our class SharePoint site. So you need to do is go to the SharePoint site. All right, so if you come down here, what we'll have is a lab accounts. Okay, so each team, all right, so I've got that posted up here, so the teams are up here. All right, each team will use this number. So what you'll see is in the document, you'll see a reference to a number. All right, so you'll see something dash, ampersand, ampersand, ampersand. All right, that is this number here. So this is your team number. So team 1 is 201, team 2 is 202, 203, 204, 205. Okay, so this is the system. So the 3 bits of information you're going to need is, or 4 bits actually, the system name, which is preloaded, something called the client, which is an SAP term for a particular section of a system you want to get to. The username, this is the username, and then this is the initial password. Now, how you get to the system is through this link right here, this mongoose.ucc.uwm, which is University of Wisconsin-Madison, edu, and this is, it's executing something we call web GUI. So let's fire this up. Okay, so this is our web GUI. All right, so this is the, now if you take a look, the client is 000, but what we need to put into this is, client number we need to put in there is 129. Because if you try to put it with 000, it will not work. Go 129. And what I'm going to use is, I'm going to use a different account. Okay, so I'm going to use -217. And then the initial password is this right here, this VU, capital VU. The user account name is not capitalized, it's not case sensitive. The password is. So this VU, capital VU has to be capital VU, then SAPERP. So I just kind of cut and paste this. All right. And you can click log on. Now what will happen is, if assuming we connected the system correctly, what you will see is you'll have you'll have the username. It'll prompt you to put a new password in. Okay, so this is a security feature. You can pick whatever password you would like, but I would strongly recommend you write that down, because invariably people get to the screen, they put something in, they gotta move around, they log off, and then it's like, we didn't know what the password is. So, when you put a password in, you know, make a point, and what it does is it requires you to enter the existing password, then your new password, and a confirmation of that. Okay, and then we'll do change. All right, and you get a message back, password is changed. And it will come back, and this is the systems. This is our welcome message here. So this takes us to, when we go to the screen right here, this will take us to the introduction. So this is the actual SAP system itself. This is the what we call the easy access menu. Okay. So we'll just take a look. I just kind of walk you through some of the stuff we'll see here at the beginning. So the actual screen, first thing we'll see, to create a new customer, so we'll do part of step one, follow the menu path, logistics, sales distribution, master data, business partner, customer, create, complete. All right, so the way you would find that is, we'll go to logistics, all right, sales and distribution, master data, I believe that's business partner, right? Yep, business partner. Customer, just to confirm, customer, create, complete. So customer, create, complete. So as you can see, there's a couple steps that are going to be involved with some of this stuff to kind of go through uh, the setups of these things. Okay, here we go. Which will take us to an initial screen. So if you have your document, you can go, you can walk through, each screen as you go through. You'll see the first one, sold to party. It'll create a customer. Now, one of the things to watch out for, because we run into this before, if I do a pull down, it should be a sold to down here somewhere. Sold to party. Okay, cool. One of the things that will happen is at the very end, you'll create a customer. All right. The information about that customer will appear at the bottom of the screen. All right. So it'll be at the bottom of the screen. So it's not, there's not a big banner that comes up. It's just kind of a little message at the bottom of the screen that says, okay, customer, whatever is created. Make a note of that. What will happen is as we go through this process, we're actually going to be creating different documents at each step. All right, so we're creating basically a master record for the customer. So that's going to have a key on it. That'll have a number. So we want to capture that number. Then when we create we create a quote, that'll have a number. When we capture that number, when we create the sales order, is that'll have a number. Delivery will have a number. So everything will have a number that will tie all these things together. All right, and the way the system is designed, the number associated with the quotation, the numbers that are assigned to the quotation, the sales order, delivery, basically they all come together and they basically show up in what we call a document flow. So the document flow is actually described in the message there. All right, so that is really the exercise. So I'm just kind of walk through this. So it's really a matter of just kind of following. It's kind of a color by numbers a little bit. But what you'll find is, there's a lot of data in here. So like you'll see here, sold to party, kind of the menu path, what you need to do in terms of the sold to party. Like this information is related to this up here. Right. So, you can, a couple different ways you can do it. You can kind of take a look at of what, all the data that will go on each screen. So if you say, ampersand, ampersand, ampersand. That would be if you're team 201, that would be a 201, 202, 203, so on and so forth. All right. Okay, and what will happen is when you create each step along the way, when you create an order or you create a customer, capture the number, that's actually saved in the system. So you don't have to create another one, just you can use the same one. All right. And the same thing with the sales orders. You actually you can create multiple sales orders. Um, but it's very important you use your team's number because what happens is that the system is the master data in the system, all the data dealing with materials and products and things like that are keyed up by that customer number or that um, team number. And what will happen is if you use somebody else's um, ID, like if team 202 uses 201's number, what will happen is that number will, I mean, it'll execute, but what will happen is the number will, you'll be depleting that team's inventory. Shouldn't be fatal, and we can go back and trace it down, but I just want to make that, kind of make a note of how that's set. Okay. So I think that is everything you'll need to know, at least at the outset. We'll, kind of circle back in when we come back, when we get back in next week. We'll walk through the kind of where we're at and how it's progressing. Okay. Good luck with it, and have some fun. Any problems? Just send me an email. Talk to you soon. Thank you.